For once, Exela Technologies seems to have entered a bit of a stable period.
Say what?
Hi again, everyone. Hope you're all doing really well. So I thought I'd do another update on Exela Technologies because I haven't covered it for about a week since they did the sale of their scanning business. Now, it's been quite interesting in the sense that the stock's actually traded in a relatively flat channel around the $5 mark, obviously going up and down a little bit, still finishing the past 5 days slightly in the red. Which is interesting because we haven't really seen that sort of level of stability in the stock price, relative stability in the stock price, for quite some time. But it is worth pointing out that in terms of pre-split values, we are sitting around the 2 cent per share mark. So it's still, kind of technically peanuts, but it's a very tightly held stock. There's a lot of institutions in the stock. And I think that's kind of helping hold the value in what's left there. Now, the one interesting thing that has developed this week is we've actually started to see a significant uptick in the short interest. Previously, the short interest was sitting around the 6 to 7% mark, but now it's actually ticked up to close to 16%. And there's still an average days to cover of about 2 days. So there's not any immediate pressure on shorts to cover, but yeah, we've actually started to see the short interest tick up, and we are now technically a highly shorted stock yet again. So it'll be interesting to see whether this leads to any dragging down in the stock value. In terms of retail chatter, there's not much really being said about Exela Technologies. I think people are just kind of camping out, waiting to see what happens with the stock going forward. The company's in an interesting position now because they have undertaken 2 stock splits in the past 1 year. If they fall back below the $1 mark for 10 consecutive days, they can face immediate delisting threat from the NASDAQ, given that they have manipulated their stock so excessively in the past. So just other than that, there hasn't actually been much going on in terms of company news. There's been no news of any new share sales, thank God, and there has been no new updates on the big front that I'm looking out for, which is the planned sale of XBP Europe. So obviously there was a talk of the sale of the scanner business last week, but there's a much longer term, bigger play at hand, which hasn't been said to not be going ahead anymore. And that was the public listing of XBP Europe as a separate business, with Exela Technologies retaining the majority interest in the stock in that new entity. So the value of the XBP Europe unit was valued at like over $200 million. So if the company was to sell, say 50% of that, they would be bringing in, around the $100 million or just shy of $100 million in cash. The proceeds for that money was going to be used to pay down debt, which is kind of similar to what they've done with the recent scanning business sale, as well as potentially take part in a bit of a stock buyback. Now, when the company reduces the debt, which is a really crippling facet for Exela Technologies, it's going to improve the underlying value of the stock drastically. Yes, they will take a bit of a haircut in terms of assets held by the company, but it will shore up a lot more value in the company. This is a business that's doing over $1 billion in revenue and is actually slowly starting to swing and take up and increase that revenue that they're doing every year. And they think the current market conditions really support that. Now, when you add into that a bit of a stock buyback and the size of the current market cap for Exela Technologies, we could really see this stock go crazy. And that's really what I'm hanging out for. There hasn't been much said about the XBP Europe deal for a while. There has been obviously a lot of stuff going on, but there's been nothing to say that it is not going ahead. And the timelines that have been put out earlier are things will really start to take shape around August this year. So we're now halfway through June. So we're probably a good 6 or 7 weeks, and we might actually start to hear some further developments on this. And that's what I'm hanging out for. My purchase price for the company, I bought in at around the 7 cent per share mark. So I'm sitting, fairly in the red at the moment, following the splits and what's happened to the stock value. But I believe that the XBP Europe sale, and if there is any stock buyback there at all, we could really see the stock elevate significantly. Now, obviously, that's a high risk, high return play that I'm camping out for in the stock, so I'm still holding for that. But there's every chance that this still doesn't go ahead, and I'm just going to be left holding you know, a stock that's lost quite a bit of money. And, you know, for anyone who's been in Exela Technologies for a while, that's like a very familiar feeling. They have like really savage shareholder value over the years. Anyway, just thought I'd check in, let you guys know that I'm still watching Exela. It just hasn't been too much developing on the front. It's been kind of quiet for a week, other than the sale about a week ago, which we covered in my last video update. But yeah, share your thoughts on what you think's happening with Exela Technologies at the moment. Price predictions, anything, you know, is there going to ever be an attempt at a short squeeze again? Yeah, share it all in the comments below. Until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.